Hi, this is Vic Mignogna, voice of Edward Elric in Full Metal Alchemist. Captain Kirk in Star Trek continues. And do you know what the best podcast is? I'm going to tell you. Five-ish Fangirls, yeah!
The tangents and squee continue all the way to episode 96 of the Five-ish Fangirls podcast. And it's time again to go on some tangents in the vortex. Welcome everyone to this week's episode of the Five-ish Fangirls podcast. So glad you could join us. Let's start off like we do every week by going on the virtual table and see who's joined us this week.
This is Brittany in Belvedere.
This is Chrissy in Salt Lake City.
This is Sally from Wisconsin.
This is Mitch in Kitchener, Ontario.
And this is Rachel in Indianapolis, Indiana. Hello, everyone. We've got a couple of guests, though. So guess who's here?
It's Glenn in Topeka.
And it's Keith in Topeka.
Woo!
Hey, we got Glenn in Topeka. Yay!
And hopefully Sean will be joining us in a little bit.
Yes.
Yes.
Because Glenn is 3 out of 3. Keith is
This
1
is
out of 3. 2 out of 3.
Yeah, this is my second time.
Yeah.
You're 2 for 3.
Yeah. And Sean is
Sean
0 for
is
3.
0 for 3.
Well,
So far.
this time he has a good excuse.
Yes. He is working. He is paying the bills. So that is always a good thing. We will not fault him for that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yep.
You guys are too kind to him.
Yeah.
We probably are, but because we don't see him all the time.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
But we've got a full house ish this week, so we're going to jump into what little news we have. Again, another slow news week. Yay, I guess.
Depends on vacation.
Some weeks it's like, yay, a lot of news. It gives us stuff to talk about. Then other weeks it's like slow news. It's like, okay, well, all right. But anyway, just a couple of pieces of casting news. First from Supergirl, and this was actually not a big surprise. This is actually casting that they wanted to happen in season 1 and it just didn't work schedule-wise for season 2. But Wonder Woman, not that she's playing Wonder Woman, but we all know her as Wonder Woman. Linda Carter is going to be in Supergirl season 2 as the President of the United States.
Woohoo!
Which is so cool.
Which we were kind of talking about this at dinner, and some of my in-laws are they're big. Somebody said like that's actually kind of canon with the comics that Wonder Woman, in one continuity or another, is actually President of the United States. I'm just repeating what I heard, but I'm like, oh, okay.
Right.
I will too. Okay.
As I've well.
Well, yeah. It's like which
Continuity. Pick an event.
Earth.
Continuity.
Yeah.
Which Earth?
Yeah. Well, and even Supergirl.
DC multiverse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and Supergirl isn't actually the same Earth as Flash and Arrow, even though there was a crossover. But it makes sense. It makes sense in the universe they're building, so it works.
Mm-hmm.
Either way.
Well, and they've always had a history of great fan casting like that, having Dean Cain play their mom. Or play their dad.
Or their
It's
dad.
just
If
such
they play the mom, that would be
winking to the
impressive.
fans.
Well, and
Oh, yeah.
Helen Slater, too, who played
Yeah.
Supergirl in the original film, is their mom.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
Yeah, that
And
works.
it really all started with The Flash having, what's his face, play Barry's dad.
Who?
I can't
Well,
remember his name.
yeah,
I haven't watched The Flash yet, so.
It's staring at me on my DVD shelf over there, but I can't see it well enough to see what his name
It's
is.
the guy who
so
did the
does
thing.
does that mean spoiler at the end of season 3 is kind of a nod
John
that
Wesley's
direction?
ship.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I kind of took it that way.
Okay, I didn't know that. I just thought, because I looked at it and it was kind of, I had to like look at it one way, look at it the other. I'm like, okay, I guess that makes sense. But now that you say that, I'm like, okay, it's a nod to the fans. And I'm deliberately being non-spoilery here because I know not everybody here has seen all of the
Yeah,
Flash.
Glenn, I don't think you're up to date, are you?
No, not caught up.
I haven't
Yeah.
even started, so.
Oh, okay.
It's
Well,
so
then I
It's
will
on
leave
the
it there.
list. It is high on the list, but I just
I
haven't
think you'll
gotten to
enjoy
it yet.
Cisco once you
So.
get around to it.
Oh,
yeah.
Cisco.
This one
It's one of my
Cisco.
favorite parts. Yeah.
He's Sarah's favorite part, hands down.
I'm so glad they
I
brought
have
Cisco
Mitch's
into this
cheat
whole
sheet that she made,
universe.
so I will follow it. I just
Yes,
gotta start
I
it.
I shared the cheat sheet.
Yeah,
Yay.
you did.
I went through very carefully, made sure everything was properly ordered.
And I appreciate it. I will use it sooner rather than later. I promise.
Okay.
Alrighty, so yay, Linda Carter. So her first appearance will be episode 3 of season 2. So stay tuned for that. So, the other bit of casting news is another one of those. Huh? Okay. Sure. Why not?
Well, okay. This one, okay, well, we'll give the news
Yeah.
and then I will give my
So-
analysis of this because I just,
Yeah.
we've been having a good laugh over this one. so-
Yeah, well,
Announce the news and then we'll announce it.
considering they've already started filming, it kind of seems like this is a little late, but at the same time they hadn't made an announcement, so we knew, like,
Well,
that with the Power Rangers movie, Zordon had to be cast eventually. It's just they hadn't said anything.
Zordon's kind of, he'd be a CGI motion capture something. He wouldn't actually be on set,
Right,
possibly.
yeah. And he's probably not going to be in a lot of it depends on what they decide to do
Yeah.
with Zordon, whether they decide to do any sort of like origin flashback type things, or if it's just going to be like the TV show and just start with giant floating head. And
Anyway,
that being
Bryan
it,
Cranston.
Yes.
Bryan Cranston has been cast
the
as
one
Zordon.
who knocks.
What?
Yes.
Yeah.
Real?
Yeah. So here's the thing.
The memes are just all over the place.
Yeah. Here's the thing. At one point, there were people, or the people making Batman v Superman said they'd wanted Bryan Cranston to play Lex Luthor, and somehow that didn't work. So they couldn't get him to do Lex Luthor, and there was one other that I can't remember. Maybe it was like in a Bond movie or something. Anyway, or no, it wouldn't have been a Bond movie. Anyway. There was another villain they wanted him to play, and they couldn't get him to do it. So they get him to play Zordon. And I'm like, well, at least they're using him for something.
Yeah. What a lot of people don't know, though, is Bryan Cranston actually voiced a couple of monsters in the original Power Rangers series. So he has ties.
Well, that's cool.
He has ties to the franchise, and technically, this makes him the first returning person from the TV series to be in the movie.
Don't worry. Jason David Frank is going to be there, even if he just randomly shows up on set one day and said, "Hey guys, I'm here."
He's going to be the guy, ordering French fries at the drive-thru in one of the scenes or something. So
yeah. He'll be. I guarantee you. He'll be in the movie somewhere.
He kind of has to be. The rest of them maybe not so much, because they're actually, if you follow pretty much any of the other Power Rangers alumni, especially from the first 2 sets, as I like to call them, it's kind of like Doctor Who. It's like first Doctor era, first Power Ranger era, second Power Ranger era. If you follow any of them on the social medias, you will know that a bunch of them have gotten together and are making a spy action movie. It has nothing to do with the Power Rangers. It just so happens that they all are Power Ranger alumni and therefore good friends, and were able to get together and come up with this script, and are now filming it. But it's got like a crap ton of Power Ranger alumni in it, and including the original Zordon. He's playing some part, and Bulk is in. I don't think Skull is in it, but Jason Narvi is in it as well. So, but as far as I can tell, Jason David Frank is not any part of that, so therefore he is free to have his drive-through cameo in the new Power Rangers movie.
I will be watching for that.
I will be too.
He's gonna be like the Stan Lee cameo of that movie. Like,
I
where
think
is
so.
David Frank?
Yeah. It's like the rest of them not so much, but where's Tommy? Where's Tommy?
Yes, he'll be like the guiding mentor type character that they sort of see, and
Or he'll be the pizza delivery.
or the pizza delivery guy. Or no. This is what I want him to be. Okay, this is totally fan speculation. Okay, so at the end of Avengers where they have that montage of news covering the New York Battle of New York, and then there's a bit that Stan Lee turns out like, superheroes in New York, give me a break.
Yeah.
It's funny because it's Stan Lee and he's the one who created him. So I'm like, I want David Frank's character to be like, teenagers playing superheroes, give me a break or something as dismissive of power, the concept of Power Rangers. That would be funny.
I like it. Sold. Quick. Somebody tweet whoever's making this movie and say, we have an idea. You can have it for free.
And it'll just be, you can film it in pickups. It won't even be that hard.
Exactly. Just make it happen. So, anyway, but yeah, that's been like the memes coming after that announcement is just hilarious. It's like, say my name, Zordon.
No, I like the video we posted on our Facebook. Well, I put it on our Facebook page of Bryan Cranston in the original. Someone photoshopped or put in his face in the original Zordon, and he's talking to the Rangers, and he's like saying all these lines from Breaking Bad, and it sounds like he's yelling at them.
Yeah.
and it cuts back to them, and they're all looking at each other, giving and they're like, "What the heck is going on here?" It's quite funny.
Yep.
Do you think they got him to do this role because he wouldn't actually have to shave his head, where with Lex Luthor he would?
I don't
Possibly. Know. I hadn't thought about this.
If they frame it just right, he wouldn't have to have... He has a pretty far back hairline, so they could almost just frame it so it doesn't have to shave.
Or he could just put his hair under a skull cap or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To do it that way. Does he have a problem with shaving his head, and that's why he didn't want to do Lex Luthor?
I wouldn't get tired of shaving my head for every single movie I had to do.
True, but I mean, that
when you get paid millions of dollars,
that Eisenberg dork didn't shave his head for the movie.
Was that a bald cap?
Was he bald?
At the very end.
Yeah, he was bald in it.
He was bald
at the end. That's why I was wondering: is that a bald cap or did he shave it?
I haven't seen photos of Jesse recently, so I don't know.
I swear I saw him as Lex Luthor, and he's got the hair, and
he does through most of the movie.
Yeah, he does have hair, but at the very end, he goes to prison, and they shave his head.
Oh, okay. So that's his origin story. Got it.
Yeah.
All right. Who knows? I wasn't going to say anything. I'm like, when I heard Bryan Cranston had been up for Lex Luthor, and I'm like, and you went with Jesse Eisenberg? What is wrong with you?
Well, it was, I don't know who's seen the movie, but it was a poor choice anyway. So
yeah.
I would have rather have seen Cranston in it.
Yeah. When I heard that, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Actually, that's it for news. So, although Brittany has posted the photo challenge for July, so.
And another quick bit of housekeeping. You've got a few days remaining to vote on the Traveling Vortex book club poll for July for Goodreads.
So Brittany, were you going to say what the photo challenge is?
Yes,
for July.
Okay, the photo challenge for July is the ABCs of Pixar. Because I've had Finding Dory in my brain the whole week, so
everyone's been talking about a certain little blue fish.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Finding Dory yet.
I haven't yet either. I purposely went to the movies earlier in the week to go see it, and I was waiting in line to get my ticket, and other people were buying tickets for Finding Dory, and the gal working the booth was all like, well, it's pretty full, and I'm like, it's probably full of loud children, no thank you.
Yeah.
No offense, but no thank you. I go to the movies in the middle of the day for a reason.
Yeah. It is summertime. We did go see Warcraft, which I was very surprised at how much I liked that one.
I went and saw Alice Through the Looking Glass instead.
How was that one?
It's not bad. I mean, it's not anything amazing as far as like storytelling or anything. Visually, it's beautiful. Just
I went and saw Alice Through the Looking Glass and X-Men Apocalypse like on the same day. One right after the
That's
other.
a random matchup.
That's a long day at the movies.
That too.
Yeah, well, because I had to do laundry first, so I missed the first 10-15 minutes of Alice Through the Looking Glass.
Oh.
But I saw all the Wonderland stuff, so that's the important.
That's the important bit. So.
That's what you want to see.
Yeah.
I saw all that.
Yeah.
So, and then they kind of bookend with the real world stuff. So what I missed from like dialogue and
The only issue if you miss the beginning is if you don't get to it before Alice gets to Wonderland is minor spoiler. All of Alan Rickman's bits are in the very beginning of the movie.
I saw Alan Rickman's bit.
Yeah, he has like 3 lines, and they're all towards the beginning, which sucks.
I got there like a couple minutes probably before she went through the mirror.
Yeah.
So how is it compared to the first one? Is it
I don't know if you can really. I think it's on the.
They're very
it's on
different.
Yeah.
Animals.
Yeah. So I will say this of the Sacha Baron Cohen in. I like this one much better. I will give that.
The other one was it Les Mis?
No, actually, I haven't even seen that. I think because I think he's in Talladega Nights. Is that right?
Not even Sweeney Todd?
No, I haven't seen that either.
Of all the Sacha Baron Cohen's films you've seen, the other one is Talladega Nights.
I know.
Well, Rachel, I can understand that of you since you're a big NASCAR fan.
Yeah. So, because like I don't really like Will Ferrell either, but I like NASCAR, so I blame it on poor influence of outside sources on that one.
Does your outside influence start with a C?
Maybe. No comment. Wait, when did that come out? I don't remember.
It's been about, how old's Caitlin? About 10 years ago.
Okay, so no, it doesn't start with C. It's actually someone else. So no, I don't even have him to blame that on, but that's okay. Anyway. Anywhoozles. So, Alice Through the Looking Glass. Visually beautiful, exactly what you'd expect from a Tim Burton produced movie. He didn't direct it, he produced it. So, and I spent the entire time looking at all of Alice's outfits going, I wonder how hard it would be to cosplay that. Because that's where I am in my life right now. I can't watch anything without looking at the costumes and going, how hard would that be to make?
You know what? Jared's got me doing the same thing. Like, recently, I don't know if any of you guys watched Reboot when you were, like, a kid, and it was on Saturday morning cartoons in the 90s, and I found out it was on Hulu, and I'm sitting there going, I'm going to watch this, because I loved this show when I was, watching cartoons Saturday mornings, and I'm watching it, and I'm like, what costumes could I do of these they're computer sprite characters, and I'm like, well, I can't do Andrea, because there's no way I'm going to walk around in nothing but a bikini and leggings. Dot, I could probably pull off, maybe.
How does that hold up? I haven't gone back to rewatching it.
You know what? I watched it from beginning to end. I never saw the fourth season, the first couple of seasons, I'm like, okay, yeah, this is, the animation is of its time, but that's kind of part of its charm a little bit, because in the last season, which never got finished, which I'm kind of bummed out about, because the story was really good, but the animation, it looks like, I'm like, okay, I understand these are the same characters, but the animation doesn't quite fit for what I remember the tone of the story being, and so it's like it's better because it was made in like, oh my gosh, like 2002 or something, or I don't know. It was like early mid 2000s is when it was made, and I'm like, this just seems weird because these characters are not supposed to be this well defined animation wise. But yeah, I mean the old episodes, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is my favorite thing, and I remember how much I loved it, and now I'm like, I'm just gonna go back and watch season 1 because that's the stuff I like.
Well, from what I remember of it, I wasn't even that impressed with the animation at the time, but the storytelling was just so good that I was able to look past it.
Oh yeah, and like the jokes and like even some of the parodies that they have, like they have a straight up James Bond opening title sequence, and I'm trying to think. There was one game where they play and they're like Dungeons and Dragons, and Mike the TV is the warrior, and everyone's like, because Bob's supposed to be the warrior because he's the guardian and all that stuff, and they're all like, well, yeah, we're screwed now because Mike's he's no good, but then they win the game and it's kind of cute. So, but yeah, I watched them like, oh, this reminds me, this is a good thing. This reminds me of something so loved and so cherished.
We're gonna need to do like a top 10 like 90s TV shows or something like that.
Yeah, like Saturday morning cartoon type of thing.
Yeah, so because heaven knows I spent most of the 90s in front of a television.
Oh yes.
Yeah. It's so funny because I'll get talking like about TV shows and stuff, and Chauncey just looks at me like I've grown a second head, because he was one of those kids that actually went outside and played and didn't watch TV as a kid. I'm like, you're so sheltered.
Yeah, you see, I kind of feel like I had a healthy mix of both, because like there's a lot of shows that I watched, a lot of TV I watched, but growing up on the farm, I still went out, rode my bike and played ball and ran around outside. So I'm like,
yeah, not me. I spent my childhood in front of the television.
I missed a lot of television in the 90s because I was an adult already. Things like a job and...
No!
We're making Glenn show his age. We're sorry about that.
It's one of my favorite things to do.
Like, don't you remember this when you were in elementary school? No, because that's when you were in elementary school.
Oh, my. For once, I'm not one of the oldest people in this podcast. Thank you, Glenn.
You're not even remotely the oldest one now.
No, but usually I am. I think Holly and I are the oldest out of the 5 of us. So.
Yeah, I'm probably the senior matriarch of the thing. I was born in 79.
Yes.
I'm dating myself.
You're a lot closer in age to me then.
Yeah.
That's okay.
My.
We're all still friends here.
Yeah.
Fandom knows no age limits.
Nope.
This is true.
That's right.
Ooh, I just saw lightning out my window, so.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Alrighty then. Well, if something happens, we can blame Mother Nature. Yay. Alrighty then. So that was fun. Anyway, like I said, there's gonna be tangents. There's a reason I named the show. When you see the show title for this, that was
the theme.
Yeah. So, I mean, that was pretty much on. Wasn't necessarily to talk about any one thing in particular. It's just, it's been a while since we had any of you guys on, and it was somewhat, fitting because we just had a birthday, because, we just had our second birthday and we're quickly approaching episode 100, which is crazy to think of it itself.
Happy birthday. It's crazy to think you guys have been doing this for 2 years.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I know.
So, but it's like...
Part of me's like, we
yeah.
kept it up.
Yeah, it's like the birthday fell at a weird time because it was right around leading into PopCon, and then our 100th birthday actually will fall like right around San Diego Comic-Con. So it's like we couldn't necessarily celebrate one or the other just because there would be other things to talk about. So it's like, let's split the difference. Episode 96.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, but it's like, what are we going to do to celebrate 2 years and almost 100 episodes? Let's just have the guys from our brother podcast on and just chat, because, it's like, I've been terrible about keeping up and listening to Traveling the Vortex, yet at the moment I am caught up in listening to you guys, so that's yay, gold star for me.
That's a challenge in itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to be really good at that, and now I'm like way behind all the time, and I feel bad because I'm like, I'm like, oh crap, there's another Traveling the Vortex episode. I'm like 5 or 6.
I'm off for the summer now, so it's gonna get. I'm off work for the summer, so it's gonna get a lot harder to keep up on my podcast.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
And it's like I don't know the last time I sent in feedback. I think I maybe sent in feedback a couple of months ago, but I think it was the same time you guys were having trouble with the feedback, so it got lost somewhere. And by the time I realized, I was like, no, never mind. It wasn't anything uber important anyway. But it's like, we don't get really a chance to talk to you guys because you guys record on Sunday night, and a lot of times we record on Sunday night now, so it's like we're busy doing our own shows and we don't get to really chat outside of like Facebook for the most part, and we don't see each other either, which bites, but hopefully that'll get fixed at some point in the future. If anyone wants to contribute to our Patreon and to send us all to like, Time Eddie or something, that would be, we wouldn't say no.
Time Eddie would be great.
See, Time Eddie's like centrally located. It's right between everybody.
Exactly.
It's 2 hours from me.
Yeah. Well, and it's like, because Galley is so,
Galley's impossible.
If you don't get, Galley's awesome, but if you don't get your tickets within the first 5 minutes, you don't get tickets.
Yeah, right. So, and you're not going.
I mean, where that one is closer to me, it's like, well, that's not going to happen. But I can get to Time Eddie, probably.
Yeah, I could too. I just need someone to pay for it.
I'm like, we're going to do this one day. And he's like, okay.
Yeah.
Well, Christy, this is the year Peter Davison's there.
I met him at Salt Lake Comic-Con.
Okay. Rachel, can you ever meet your doctor too many times?
No, you can't. Speaking from experience, you can never meet your doctor too many times.
He actually, I don't know if you guys heard my story, but I'll tell it again just because it makes me so happy. So, I had my 5th Doctor cosplay, and I was sitting like near the front, like on the second row of his panel, and when he walked in the door that I was sitting closest to, and he's like waving everybody, and he like, and we're all clapping and waving and screaming, and he points at me and waves, and I'm like, my doctor noticed me, and all that stuff. It was kind of a trip meeting him at his table too, because I was like, Jared had to kind of help me off, off the state, out of the area, because I was like, yay.
Yeah. Jared and Chauncey could swap stories. Things we've done for our wives when they meet their doctor.
He's fanboy over plenty that I've had to be like, yes, dear, I know. I'm glad you're happy.
Chauncey doesn't do that. It's pretty much one-sided for the most part. So, but yeah. Fandom. It's so much fun. So.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So, but yeah. Patreon.com/5ishfangirls.
Hey, there's
like
the plug.
Yeah.
There's the plug for the episode.
We'll plug it more at the end.
Oh yes, we will. And we always appreciate our Patreon supporters.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you so much for all of that.
Yeah. So. Yeah, so podcasting's just a weird thing in general, and I know you guys can attest to this, that just we do this because we feel like we want to, we feel like we have something to say, and we hope that other people want to hear what we have to say, and we do it out of our own pocket and the goodness of our hearts. And there's no money in podcasting unless you're Chris Hardwick. So
right.
it's like when I was at PopCon, and I was passing out business our business cards to people, and then you do your elevator pitch with a lot of people, because these conventions, people are running around. It's like, oh, I gotta go get this autograph, I gotta get this piece of art, I gotta go do I gotta get this panel, that sort of thing. So you gotta hand them the card and say something real quick that hopefully sticks with them. So I'm like handing out cards like, yeah, we're like the female version of the Nerdist without the cursing and Chris Hardwick's contacts and celebrity friends. It's like, but we're working on it. Give us, 4-5 years maybe, and Chris Hardwick better watch out. Yeah.
Yes.
But until then,
I love your guys' latest stinger.
Yeah.
Wasn't that the greatest?
It's the best. Awesome. Oh, I love it.
Speaking of things
was this the fake trailer guy?
Yeah, the Honest Trailers.
I heard that the other day when I loaded the episode.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah.
Speaking of things that my husband fanboyed over. I'm pleased to say.
Yeah. Even Chauncey's been sharing it. Like, he's like, just wait. He's like, I don't want to send it in like he wants to share it with his coworkers. He's like, but I don't want to send like the link through an email or something. I want to be able to play it and see their reaction. So
yes.
Yeah,
even my brother-in-law, who's he can be kind of a hard sell. He was just he thought it was cool, so I was like, yes.
Yeah.
I heard that and I thought that was a good get right there.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a really good get. I'm very excited about that one, and I listened to it over. Like, I was I don't want to hear the rest of the show necessarily. I just want to hear the bumper. Like, this is so amazing. So, and we'll keep collecting bumpers. If anyone knows anyone who knows anyone that can get us in touch with someone else. People who may be appropriate. We need some new era Who folks still.
Yeah. The trouble with them is their lines are always so long at conventions that there's just no time to do that.
Yeah. Or in some cases they cancel the day before a convention starts.
Well, Keith ran into the issue now with some of the new fans, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm remembering this wrong, but with some of the new Who guests, they're just not contractually allowed to do that kind of thing. And so I think Karen, somebody turned you down.
Karen gave me one.
Oh, Karen did.
Yeah, so you guys have one from Karen. It's really quick, but you have one from Karen.
Somebody turned you down, though, right? Was it Matt, maybe?
Yeah, I think it might have been. I can't remember.
And it wasn't because he didn't want to do it. It was because he couldn't do it legally or by contract.
Yeah.
Huh. That's an interesting contract thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it was weird. It could have been just an excuse, too. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
If I do it for you, I have to do it for everybody in line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
and it's a long line.
Yeah.
Yeah. At least he was nice about it.
Oh, yeah. It's not like it was Eric Roberts and said, give me $100.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's usually what I'm afraid of, like, when going... some of the people, some of our bumpers we have paid for, but it's not been Eric Roberts $100. It's like the one from John Bailey, for Honest Trailers. I paid $10 for it, but he was donating some of that to a charity. So it wasn't even all going in his pocket. So in that case, it's like, he's not keeping all of the $10. So it made it less.
When I got the one for Vic Mignogna, I mean, he's a voice actor, so that makes sense.
Yeah, a lot of the voice actors, they put it up on their table. It's like selfies, blah, autograph, blah, voice recordings, so many dollars.
And his was like, I can swing that.
Yeah.
And he was really cool. I love getting
with trying to get his. So
yes. Yeah, he was really nice because I hadn't hit, but he was okay with that. He's like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. And like at the same time, his handler was like, come on, you got a panel to go to. And I was like, but he's like, no, I got it. So he was the greatest. And,
yeah. And
so,
his is fun too. So.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, I love our little growing collection of bumpers.
Yeah, I think at this point you guys are outpacing us.
Yeah. We try. So it's like, if the person's willing, I'm like, yes, please.
I've always looked at it this way. It never hurts to ask. Even if you get rejected, or even if they ask you for $100, at least you've asked. At least you've given it a shot. Some of them are gracious enough to do it for free. Some of them, want a little bit something for it. And I don't fault them for that. But it never hurts to ask them.
Yeah. Absolutely. And it just makes for a little fun something to put at the beginning of the show too. Yep. So it's fun for me every week. Do I go to edit and I'm like, which one am I going to use this week?
Who's introducing us this week? although our little trailer is kind of it's a lot of fun to listen to.
Yes.
Too. Like, look at all these people that know who we are.
Yeah. Yeah. Part of me is like, well, do I need to re-edit that now and put John's in it, or should I just leave it separate?
Eventually we'll have enough to do a second trailer or something.
Yeah. So because I've been wanting to do, because like you guys for Traveling the Vortex, you've done a couple of like video type things that you guys have put out to kind of help promote your guys' show. And for the longest time, I've wanted to do, some like sizzle reel or something or other to, give someone just a short, sweet, couple minute, 2-minute thing to be like, this is kind of what our show's about. It's like, we've done so many shows to go through and like pick like actual clips is way more work than I'm wanting to do right now. Maybe in the middle of winter, if I get snowed in or something, I may go and do that. But right now, it's like, not so much. It's like, what else can I do? The bumpers, because they're people. You got some Doctor Who. We got Vic. So you got your Full Metal Alchemist / Star Trek there, and we've got Lou Mangello. So you got your Disney connection there. So it's like it covers some of our fandoms and gives an idea of the kind of things we're into. So I splice that together and voila.
It was kind of surreal when you guys got Lou, because I've been listening to WDW radio for years and years and years, and
you had no idea I was friends with him?
When you guys had him on there, I never even connected the idea that, of course, you would know who he was, being such a Disney fan.
Yeah.
And I heard that, and I was like, oh, this is like come full circle now. This is like 2 podcasts now that are connected that I never would have connected 2 years ago.
Yeah. Well, it's one thing, it's like, oh yeah, Disney fan, Rachel's a Disney fan, that would make sense, but it's like, I'm a fan, but Lou is also a very close friend as well, so that
didn't occur to me until one day you were talking about that on the podcast.
Yeah, no, I've known Lou for a long, probably longer than any of us care to admit, actually. So.
Lou's a really awesome guy. I mean, I listen to his podcast when I can, which lately hasn't been very much, but I follow him on Facebook, and sometimes he'll have the live Disney or live feed for Facebook where he's going through Disney World somewhere, and I'm like, this is just so nice. It kind of, especially like when I'm, during the day when I'm working and I just have to take a little 5-minute break, and Lou's at Disney World, and I'm kind of, following along with him. This is nice.
Yeah. Do we have a Sean with us? I said we have another Rox. Is it baby?
Did we?
He was
Sean.
Sean? Have you come out of the vortex?
I'm showing another person. I'm showing another person, but
his mic isn't hooked up right.
Well, he'll figure it out.
Yeah. Sean is trying to join us. He's here, but not here.
Who's this Sean guy?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. He just kind of showed up in our Skype thing.
Who invited him?
I don't know.
Oh, poor Sean.
We tease him so much.
Of our collective imagination.
Sean is the Willy Wonka.
If we all wish really hard.
Maybe.
Sean.
I do believe in fairies. I do.
I do believe in Sean's.
Oh, my.
We have so much fun with you guys.
We do. I wish we could do this more often, especially all in the same room. Again, patreon.com.
I think we've said this many times, and I don't know why it hasn't happened. We need to get you ladies on our show.
Yeah.
We've been on your show 3
I
times.
know.
Or at least a representative has been on the show 3 times. Me.
Yeah.
Well, we've been on it
on the galley reports.
Yeah.
Well, that's true. I mean, I guess I meant collectively instead of individually, because we've had.
That was before Five-ish Fangirls podcast was a thing
That's
too.
true.
So the first one was before Five Fangirls podcast was the thing, but the second year was after.
Yeah.
Mitch was on while you guys, like in the first year that you guys were doing it, because I remember she was collecting interviews and bumpers that I think we were sharing too.
Yeah. Well, I was on it. Well, it was the year you went, Glenn.
Yeah, that's right.
So.
And then we've had Rachel send in a
Chicago
correspondent
TARDIS
report from Chicago TARDIS.
Yep. So that's the closest I've been on.
Holly and Brittany, I think, are the only 2 that we haven't heard on our show so far.
We will have to fix that.
So I can't maybe something kind of keep back the cons.
That's okay.
And I work weekends.
Yeah.
That's the bigger challenge.
Yeah. A little bit.
Yeah, it's when work will cooperate.
Yeah. This show wouldn't have. This show wouldn't have happened if I don't think if I had gotten a real job. So.
Check, mic check.
Hey!
Welcome to the podcast.
I'm hearing voices.
Who's that? Somebody here?
Voice sounds familiar. Ghost beyond the grave.
I don't think I've ever heard this guy on a Five-ish Fangirls podcast.
No, darn Skype, it'll just let it.
I'm proof of that. If they'll let a Neanderthal like me on, I mean, my God. How is everyone tonight?
We're fantastic. We're
Fine.
jumpy as heck, apparently. Punchiness.
We were just wrapping up. Okay.
Sign up for next time.
No.
Is this the time to do the schedule?
We don't do that. We don't do that silly schedule stuff around here. What are you talking about?
Yeah. We barely know what we're doing when we start hitting record, let alone in the future.
we are quite literally flying by the seat of our pants.
For the most part.
I am totally on the wrong podcast. I need to come hang out with you guys. That sounds right up my alley.
Sean, you've been lied to.
He's got expectations.
Anyone tells you podcasting requires a lot of planning ahead? Nope. That's somewhat a lie.
Don't give Sean any ideas.
Oh, you wait.
No, I actually the panel I did at PopCon last weekend. Somebody did ask about whether you should just be like how organized and how written down ahead of time should you have your stuff when you go to do your podcast. I'm like, well, we use Google Docs because it's easy to be able to share stuff easily without having to like send documents back and forth. So that makes it real easy. And it's like, we put down, the news, because that's really the only thing that we need to be able to keep track of. Occasionally we'll put some notes depending on what it is we're talking about. Feedback, the once in a blue moon we get feedback. But other than that, we just tend to just fly by the seat of our pants for the most part, but it works for us. It's not going to work for everyone, for every podcast, but
this show's a little more conducive to that because you guys are covering a general aspect of fandom. You guys have so many different things that you're going with that any given week there certainly is something new going on in some of the fandoms that you guys share. Mm-hmm. And so I think it that works out for you guys because you're able to kind of take what happened during the week and focus on that and talk a little bit about that. I think from our point of view with Doctor Who, there's a plethora of stuff out there, and I think we could come to our podcast and just talk about just about anything, but I think we try to focus it in onto a certain topic so that we continue to figure out if we've covered everything.
Yeah.
I think is what boils down.
Yeah.
Did we get that? I don't know. Look back at the schedule and see what we've got.
Yeah.
So I think
at first you guys needed to guide me through it all.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Light bulb.
Yeah. Well, like where you guys are like trying to, review and cover everything Doctor Who related. And like, we've had times where, earlier in the year when it was, when we had all those celebrities passing away and we're like, well, maybe it would be appropriate to do a tribute episode to talk about some of our favorite things that they've done and just, dedicate that episode to that kind of thing. So
mm-hmm.
Current news, stuff like that we can certainly do and talk about, and that's that's kind of how this whole podcast got started. Is we were just sitting around talking on Skype and like, hey, we should record this.
Yep.
And
pretty much
put it out for public consumption.
For better or for worse.
Yep.
That's what we've been doing. So, but yeah, I think it really just comes down to what type of show you're doing, on how organized or disorganized or unorganized, whatever you want to call it, you do it. So, it's funny, I keep ending up on these podcasting panels at conventions, and I'm like, yeah, well, I've been doing it for 2 years, and, we've kind of got the general gist of it down, but, for the most part, we just kind of make it up as we go along, and with whatever technology we have, the technology comes up a lot when I do these panels, and some of the other people, like in the podcast indie group that I'm part of, they talk about technology and microphones and mixing boards, and I'm over here like, yeah, I use a old MacBook Pro. And everything just feeds in a quick time, and I do a little bit of editing, and then that's it. That's, the show sounds how the show sounds. And
you should start making things up. Oh yeah, I'm on the Turbo Deluxe 9000.
Well, that's what it sounds like when some of these guys start talking different microphones and all that, and I'm like, yeah, whatever Apple puts into their machines is what I use.
Yeah, but
it's like what planet is on that?
Yeah, really.
What planet is that from?
Yeah, really.
Mm-hmm.
I certainly think though what it does is a really good perspective too. I think people when they wonder if they could start a podcast, they sit there and they kind of think it's way beyond their means. Mm-hmm. It's way above what they could do, what they possibly need. And you kind of bring that perspective of, well, you don't need a lot to get started.
You need a laptop and you need recording software and a way to get it out to the public, and that's about it.
Yep.
Exactly.
We started on just putting it on YouTube.
Yeah.
And we'll listen that way, and then we've gotten more and more as we've gone along. So I think if we had waited until we've got all the technology, we would have lost interest in doing it.
Yeah.
Well, this is what we kind of did. We just jumped right in because I said, I want to do this, and the other guys were like, yeah, let's do this. And so we were around Keith's primitive PC computer with a Rock Band mic that we all talked into.
It was an XP computer.
Yeah, so it just, it's early starts.
Yeah.
I bought a a blue snowball at one mic.
Yeah.
So I use that sometimes, not always, but
yeah. A lot of it, yeah, a lot of it just, and we've discussed this, off mic when we're discussing, especially in the last week or so, because we had all those issues with Skype last week, and we're looking at alternatives, and we tried an alternative earlier in the week, and it worked when it was just me and Chrissy and Brittany, but then we tried it tonight, and by the time we got, like 6 people on it, it sounded awful, like, well, that's not going to work. So we're back at using Skype for better, for worse, and we'll just, we'll keep doing it this way until something else comes along that is free, because we're not putting any money into this. Like, the 5 of us literally do not spend any money on this show. The reason we're on iTunes is because of the guy I'm married to. He's the one paying for the Libsyn account so that we get on iTunes. Otherwise, we would still be putting our stuff on YouTube.
And we always thank Chauncey for that, because that was really cool.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, we can't thank Chauncey enough for being our silent partner. in all of this, and it's like I've jokingly mentioned Patreon a couple of times, and it is somewhat we'll keep doing this regardless of whether anyone wants to give us any money through Patreon or through Amazon or whatever. But if you do, it certainly would help in the long term. Whether that helps with technology is yet to be determined, just because we do kind of have a unique setup where we're trying to get 5 people via the internet into a single recording that can go out onto the feeds and all that, and especially because we're all in different places with different internet connections and different technology. It's like I'm on a laptop. Sometimes I know when Brittany was using her phone for the longest time, hence the cricket noises. In one episode.
Well, and even beyond just the the equipment and the financial thing, like just like every Sunday we record, and every Sunday I go over to my in-laws' house for Sunday dinner, and we're all there and stuff, and I'm always kind of like hesitant to say, okay, I need to go do podcasting, and Jared's the one who says, hey, we gotta go, she's gotta go do her podcast, and it's kind of like really sweet of him to say that, because it's something that's important to me, and he's like, well, you like doing it, and it's so having that kind of family support, moral support even is and like, and every time I get off, he asks me, oh, what did you talk about and what'd you do, and he's in the other room listening to my side of the conversation. and when we first were married, and I was like, I probably sound like a lunatic over here, and he's like, no, I get it. I'm like, oh, okay. Because before I just sort of barricaded myself in my room, and my roommates were ignored them, and they're like, oh, you did that podcast thing that you do. Okay, that's cute. But
Mel
is
just
it raining?
Rolls her eyes and says, I'll see you downstairs when you're done. I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Chauncey totally gets it, which is good, but it's kind of funny because, like, my mom will be like, hey, want to come over and go swimming and have a cookout? And I'm like, yeah, I kind of have to do the pot. Like, I think the rest of my family is all like, yeah, especially my mom. She's like, okay, whatever. My in-laws, I think, are pretty good about it. Like if we have to be visiting them and I need to record at their house, and it's like the biggest thing is like, can you make sure the dog limits the barking? And they're fine with it, so it's all good. But having doing the podcasting thing, and having if you've got a spouse or significant other and all that they at least tolerate it, I guess, is a good thing. So, and I know for you guys, because you all have to converge into someone's home So
Yeah,
it's like here, with us,
doing
we're in our own spots, but like the three of you have to get together and take over someone's house, part of their house for, the evening. So.
Yeah, Sarah would always just go to bed.
Yeah.
But then it became almost a little bit of a problem because she needed to get up early, and sometimes we got loud.
Yeah.
And kept her awake.
Yeah.
It's funny. I wonder how much. I mean, we've joked about podcasting and family and you're doing the thing still, but if this technology had been around earlier, just the simple act of recording conversations and thoughts and opinions on things, I really wonder how much further it really would have gone if it was would Nixon have. And he recorded everything anyway. Yeah. So would he have ever had? Would he have ever had a podcast?
Would he have ever, published the 18 minutes of missing tape or whatever?
I wonder about things like that. It's like if this was available, would people, utilize it more often if it was something that you didn't have to necessarily go and find a computer and recording software and a microphone. You could just, I guess people are talking to their phones sometimes and make notes, but it's just... Yeah. Or people one that's just going to be, daily ramblings. And I'm just going to... I talk to myself all the time anyway, so I might as well record it and see if other people are interested.
Record it for posterity, sure. Yeah. I mean, there's people that do that instead of writing in a journal.
Yeah. Well,
this is good recording.
That's part of the reason why I love doing the podcast so much is because I don't really want to talk about, global whatever's going on, politics or sports or whatever. The things I want to talk about are my fandoms. And, I've got my own personal blog, but I haven't, other than, like talking about my trips to Disney, I can't tell you the last time I actually, wrote a written blog post of any sort because I don't feel that comfortable and don't really like writing. But doing the podcast, I just open my mouth and stuff comes out. It may still sound like nonsense, but it's easier for me to talk than it is for me to write. So Chrissy is very good at both. Chrissy, you're very eloquent with both the written word and speaking, so you kind of put me to shame in that regard. But
that's very nice of you to say. Sometimes when I ramble, I'm like, what the heck am I even saying? It's like I open my mouth and stuff just falls out. Yeah. I'm kind of the opposite, Rachel. I'm more comfortable writing than I am speaking. So I don't know why because sometimes I feel like I monopolize the time here on the podcast and not everybody gets to talk. But I don't know. It's just I missed my calling, I suppose.
Well, I think with our show, the fact with 5 of us, it can be a little difficult. There may be some, subconscious pressure, like, oh, we got to make sure everyone gets a chance to say something. But depending on what it is, sometimes just some of us have something to say and the others are just content to listen. And you're probably nodding, but we can't hear you nodding. So, because you agree with whatever it is, whoever's talking at the moment. So, but if someone has something to say, they're going to speak up. So that's the thing. It's like when we first started this, we were like, well, are we going to be talking over each other? And actually, for the most part, we're pretty good about not talking over each other.
I'm sorry, I was nodding.
As people are nodding in the background.
Yeah, Sean, I can just imagine you just kind of nodding along like a bobblehead.
Yeah.
Again, kind of my normal state of being.
Sorry, I've been quiet because I've been pledging my support to one of my favorite podcasts here. So I just sent my first Patreon payment off.
To who?
Nerdist.
The Nerdist.
I mean,
NPR serial.
to the Five-ish Fangirls podcast.
Because they
if you're
sure
not a
need
supporter
it.
of the Five-ish Fangirls podcast, you should be on Patreon.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Glenn.
Yeah.
That
Way
was
to
really
make us look
sweet
bad,
of you.
Glenn.
Yeah.
Well, it's like I was trying to say when I brought that up. It's like, yeah, the money would help with technology, but honestly, and I, this is something we've talked about off mic, but it's, I'm kind of in the mindset that, and I've posted, we now have another page on our blog that talks about how you can support us and goes into detail of both the Amazon and Patreon, and how both of those work, and what anything whatever you decide to do as far as support, what it will go to. But I know for me, and I think it says the same thing, and as we were somewhat joking about Time Eddie, is really we'd like to drum up enough support that we could all go to a convention together, because Chrissy and Mitch have met, right, at Galley? No?
No,
you were not there
we
at the
were a
same
year
time.
apart.
Okay, you were your part, so.
Yeah,
but,
I went one year, she went the next.
Okay, so,
I've met both of them.
Almost met,
Yeah.
but then Chrissy had to pull out because of
Oh, okay, that's what it
That was the year
was.
my car broke down. 2014 was not a kind year to
Yeah,
me.
so.
Bad.
But Chrissy and Brittany have met at Chrissy's
Yes.
wedding.
Brittany, to my great surprise, came all the way out here for my wedding,
Yeah.
which I was like, okay.
Yeah.
That was really sweet of you. And apparently you and my mom are Facebook friends now. So I'm like, yay.
So, we've been friends for a long while, because we were friends way before the podcast started. And we've been doing this podcast for over 2 years now, but for the most part, we haven't met each other yet. And
No.
it's getting to the point where it's like, we probably should in some
We
capacity
should,
or
but-
other. So a convention would be a really easy way to do it, but, being spread out the way we are, it would be easy for me to drive to something like Time Eddie or Planet Comic-Con or something, and probably for, or I don't think I'd want to drive to Fan Expo
Okay.
Canada.
We're all meeting in Canada next year.
Yes.
Well,
I've never been to Canada,
Rachel,
so.
Rachel could manage Canada, and Brittany possibly, possibly
I don't know if I'd want to drive to Canada. I'd probably fly, but
for a mission trip.
yeah. So
Well, in
Probably.
fairness, we are centrally located
yes,
and willing to host.
yes,
we were talking about that earlier, about how Kansas is kind of central to all of us. In fact, I could probably even drive to Kansas.
yeah. But
I
Drive
got-
to the mountains first, but
Well,
yeah.
I grew up in Utah. I'm surrounded by mountains everywhere. I'm used to driving through mountains.
Mountains,
It would be
mountains.
driving along the flat plains, and I'd be like, whoa.
You'd struggle through western Kansas then.
Here's how you get here, Chrissy. You head east through the mountains, and when it stops looking interesting, go a little bit further, and you found us.
And
That is so true.
if you
That
see
is so true.
see a girl in a gingham dress with a little gray dog, you've hit the right spot.
I was like, okay, I know where I'm going now.
I was.
You see the ocean, you went too far.
No,
Or
I went
going
the wrong
direction.
I went the wrong direction. Yeah.
Oh my!
Funny.
As fun as we are.
Funny
Yeah.
things happen when we all gather together.
Yeah, I would say as fun as we are, just in this fashion. Imagine how much fun our show would be if we could record being all in the same room together. It would be the most epic show ever, or we'd break the internet. One of the two.
Yeah.
Both.
Something.
Both.
Yes, both.
No, but anyway, that to me that's the podcasting goal right now. I feel like thing or NPR during time, like our goal this hour is,
no, that's it. That's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
That's going to be our next joint podcast. Will be a pledge drive for both podcasts.
I'm not sure how that'll work, but we'll figure it out.
I've been wanting to do one for Traveling the Vortex. We might as well just go all out and do one for Traveling the Vortex and the 5-ish Fangirls.
Sounds good.
Ooh, I like this plan, and I'm happy to be part of it.
I have discovered a great talent who's willing to come on our show and perform. He's a mime, and I can't wait. I think people will throw money at this.
Do you happen to have a double initials?
Oh,
this Betty may be speaking of.
It's funny you talk about wanting to do you would do the podcast for free if you could, which we're certainly in the same boat. And one of the things that happened with us when we first started the Patreon discussions, honestly, we were kind of a victim of our own success. We had just kind of reached a point where we had put out so much material that it was going to cost us money to archive it. Mm-hmm. And so then you hit do we let the old shows go away? And there was a part of me that was kind of okay with that, but then there was a larger part of me that was like, dude, you're on a Doctor Who podcast. You cannot in any way, shape, or form advocate getting rid of old episodes.
This is not Marco Polo. This is not Marco Polo.
We're not gonna find old Traveling the Vortex episodes in a closet in Nigeria.
It's just,
well, I don't know. You might.
Can't let that happen. That's our next April Fool's joke. Traveling the Vortex episode 1 found in a closet in Nigeria. But so yeah, it's one of those things that. Oh, well, let me get this straight. I get together with my friends every week and talk about Doctor Who. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll do that for free. I'm not gonna. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But at some point, it just kind of became we kind of need to. And so the goal initially is just I want the podcast to be self-sufficient. Yeah. I want to get to the point where I don't have to sink any of my money into it in order for it to continue to be a thing. So.
Well, and like you were saying, you get to talk about Doctor Who every week. And there are some weeks where we talk about a fandom that I personally, and some of the other ladies here could probably have their episodes that this is true for them, where, the topic is something I know nothing about.
Oh, yeah. But we've had plenty of those.
Oh, yeah. But I'm still looking forward to gathering and talking and, hearing, Holly or Mitch or Brittany or whoever, talk about whatever this thing is that we want to talk about. And it's just, and it's really fascinating. Whether or not I start watching the show or whatever, or see the movie or whatever it is we're talking about, is irrelevant. I'm still, interested in sitting around and chatting with my friends about it, and somebody out there is going to be interested in it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And when we talk about something that not all of us know about, it allows us to learn about something new and add to the ever-growing, now I need to watch and or read that list, which is several stories long at this point.
Yeah. Between this podcast and my husband, my list of things to watch and or read and or whatever is...
Yeah, we're all going to be dead before lifetime. Those lists get checked off.
I was actually thinking about that the other day, that I think we all kind of complain that we just have too much on our collective to-do lists when it comes to, I got to read that book, or, that's a really interesting TV show, maybe I should give that one a try, blah, blah, blah. And we all complain about it. And then I thought to myself, but would it be worse to not have anything on the list?
That is true.
Oh, yeah.
Like you say, we say complain. I think we should use complain in air quotes, because it's like, it's the term embarrassment of riches, and it's like that is very true. Like, we will never run out of anything, to read or watch. And I'm like, you know what? That's fine. There's always something new to experience. And there's one of the guys in our D&D group, because Jared's a big gamer and it's gotten me into D&D for the past year. They'll bring up stuff, and I sometimes feel sheepish, like, I haven't actually seen that. And this friend of Jared's, his name's Nick, and he looks at me and he's like, and he doesn't see it as, oh, you're a bad person, you haven't watched this. He's like, this is an opportunity for him to introduce me to it, and also an excuse for him to rewatch it.
Yeah.
So it's like that's how he looks at it. Yeah. Which is kind of an interesting way to think about it, because I don't think a lot of people think about it that way.
More people should. I've actually tried.
Yeah.
I tend to look down my nose a little bit at people who haven't seen things, and I do that. I tut and I go, oh, you poor thing. we must introduce you to this. Here's an episode of Firefly. Go home and report on it tomorrow. Things like that.
5-page paper, go.
Mm-hmm.
But it should be more of a, I am so excited, I have the opportunity now to warp your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Or you're like, you get to experience this for the very first time. Oh my gosh, I remember when I first saw this and how excited I was about it.
Which is how Traveling the Vortex began.
Exactly, that's how you guys got started.
Yeah.
It really is.
Well, in my case, it's a few of these ladies, and Brittany will nod her head in agreement. It's just like, ooh, you need a new fandom here. Let me give you A, B, C, D, X, Y, and Z. And then I get a quote, and then I get a message from her like, I hate you. It's very possible.
Well, in some cases, with the photo challenge, it literally is A, B, C, D, E.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're looking at the pictures like, wait, when did that happen? Where did I miss that?
It's been fascinating watching the latest photo challenge that you guys are doing with the Whedonverse, because every once in a while I'll see a post and I'll go, okay, I'm familiar with that, and I'm like, who is this? I wasn't even on my radar. So then I find myself going to look up more information on that particular person or character.
Then you end up in the Wikipedia rabbit hole.
Yeah, well, and then I said, going, why am I not watching this stuff? Why am I not?
Yeah.
My Redditverse is so narrow compared to anybody else in this group, and I think, why am I not watching this? Let's right up my.
I'm pretty sure it's not as narrow as mine, Glenn. I've seen Fireflies, Serenity, and I've seen the Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and that stuff, and I think that's everything Joss Whedon related I've seen.
Yeah.
Well, at least I've got a little bit of Buffy and a little bit of Angel in there, so.
I've got
that is one Jared has told me I
seasons of Buffy and a couple seasons of Angel, and I keep meaning to go back to it, but there's all this other stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I started to rewatch the Killjoys and Dark Matter because they're both coming back on July 1st.
That's what's rough. That's what's rough is everything's coming back, or everything's rebooting, or everything's becoming, in again. And you think, oh my gosh, now I'm falling even further behind, because in this time where I could have been catching up, I didn't. And then you feel like you're rushing to catch up again.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel right now.
Gilmore Girls. I just started season 4 of Gilmore Girls.
That's actually one that's been on my radar. It's like a show that I think I would really enjoy. But
back for like 4 episodes, but still.
Oh wait, Gilmore Girls is coming back?
Yeah, they're doing this Year in the Life mini series thing.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
Glenn, did you frequently watch Gilmore Girls back in the day?
I did watch Gilmore Girls. I enjoyed Gilmore Girls.
Well, there you go. You're going to have something new to look forward to.
Well, it was more one of those casual things that it happened to be on. It happened to be on a night that I could watch, and I just would watch it. And it ended up. I don't think I saw every episode. Now that you say it's coming back, then I'm thinking, maybe I should go back.
It's on Netflix, or at least it is in Canada.
Yeah, that's
Netflix is bringing it back.
Oh, is
that's
that
true.
Okay. So it probably is on Netflix there as well.
Yeah.
Keith, did you just IMDb that?
No, I knew that off the top of my head.
You knew that off the top of your head. Okay.
But I'm not
that's the thing with when Mitch says it's on Netflix, you're like, in Canada and the U.S. or just in Canada?
Well, most of it, if it's on here, it's on there. But there's a few things that I've noticed that you say one of you guys has said it's not on Netflix, and I go and I look and it's on Netflix here. It's like, I don't know.
And you're kind of like
on Netflix here.
Yeah. Well, for a little while, Doctor Who was on Netflix in Canada. It wasn't here.
Yeah.
Well, it still is on Netflix.
Oh, okay, it's still there. Oh,
it hasn't gone off yet. I keep expecting it to, but it's still in my currently watching thingy on Netflix.
Well, you better get that watched.
They're not getting season 9. That's a Crave TV exclusive. Which season 9 is now on Crave TV. But
yeah,
this just in, Doctor Who's still not on.
Yeah. Not even on Netflix. Yeah, that was a bit of a problem because my in-laws were watching. They were a little bit behind on Doctor Who, and for a while our washer was broke, so we had to go do laundry at their house. So while we were doing laundry, we'd watch Doctor Who and get them caught up, and then all of a sudden it wasn't on Netflix anymore, and we're like, well, I have it on iTunes, and luckily my mother-in-law got an Apple TV for her birthday, so we just logged me in and watched it that way. But it was like, she was all like, where's Doctor Who? Why isn't it on Netflix anymore? And it's like, well,
it's a long, complicated, tragic story.
And I'll probably swear a little bit in front of you. I apologize for that in advance.
You'll probably be joining me too here.
Game of Thrones saga of Doctor Who and Netflix.
Yes.
Yeah, well, speaking of Doctor Who, my aunt's friend, who's from Scotland, was there visiting family in April, and apparently she was in like this secondhand store, and there was a Doctor Who DVD set in a Dalek case.
Nice.
And she was about to buy it for me, but then her dad was like, she won't be able to watch it because of the region locking.
Yeah.
Who cares? It's an adult.
Yeah.
It's like, get the Dalek case.
I thought that like the Dalek case alone would have been worth it. Who cares if I can't watch it? Whatever it is on DVD anyway.
I want the Dalek case. You can give the DVDs to whoever.
I would have two versions of it just to say I've got a set of DVDs in a Dalek set.
And these are DVDs specifically from Britain, so there you go. From the home.
I mean, they're from Scotland. They could have been owned by Peter Capaldi for all you know.
Oh, yeah.
And if you bought them this week, you could get them really cheap.
They were cheap anyway. Apparently, they were like £2.
Wow.
Well, back then that was $4. Now it's a couple bucks.
Yeah.
That's a heavy dollar.
£2, and she was about to buy it, and then.
So memo to any of our friends or relatives: if you go to the UK and you happen to go to a secondhand store and see something cool that's Doctor Who related, even if it's DVDs that we can't play, but they come in a Dalek case or something, buy it.
Yes.
We will love you forever.
You're going to talk about buyer's remorse for not picking it up. Ooh, good Lord.
And it wasn't even you.
Yeah.
I didn't say this.
I'm kind of sad. It wasn't even me.
Who cares if the region locking is just a Dalek case?
Yeah.
I'm trying to come here and be among friends with conversations like this.
Yeah. Because no one else is going to.
I just found out through my work computer at the station, I can log on to Zavi UK.
Oh.
And they have a whole ton of steelbooks.
Oh.
And I went, ooh. And I tried just putting a push order through just to see what would happen. And it took it. And I went, ooh. So I just ordered the 2 Doctor Who movies in steelbook. And they just arrived this week, and they're glorious. And I can't play them.
But they're pretty.
They're just to sit on the shelf.
Mm-hmm.
Shiny.
Well, there's something to be said, and I think Brenda brought it up on our show last week in feedback, that there's something to be said about buying a region-free DVD player anymore, because you're not locked into regions when you do that. And so you can buy these kind of things and still have accessibility to watching them here just by simply buying, and they're a little bit more expensive, I think, but they've come down considerably in the last few years. So it's almost worth it to go that route because you can play anything in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's almost like, you kind of think about it, like, why do we have region lock anyway? I know there's some industry thing that there's a reason for it that they want it that way, but it's like people can get around it.
That's the thing is, now that technology's come so far and we're in the internet age and we're in the computer age, the region locks are probably kind of a passe thing now because, it was done at the time so that things could release at certain times in certain markets, and it was all marketing ploy. But now, like you said, there's so many ways around that kind of thing and in fact, movies and films now release nearly day and date because of the piracy issues, and so it's almost an antiquated system.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and there's a lot of Blu-rays that aren't region locked at all nowadays.
Yeah.
I don't have a Blu-ray player.
I think they're kind of realizing that, like, okay, you can buy things buy digital copies on iTunes or on Amazon. You can stream stuff on Netflix and Hulu and things like that. And it's like, and yeah, like you said, piracy is an issue. So it's not like, why do region lock at all? I mean, I think it's kind of more of a tradition. Like it's a traditional thing that they've just gotten used to, and it's like, okay, we can get away from this now. It's all right. Here, do you want me to hold your hand and we'll take baby steps away from it? It'll be okay. I promise. Here, have a cookie.
And even now that we're in the digital age, I mean, the VHS transfers were the tricky one back in the day because they use a standard called PAL and we use NTSC, NTCS, and so. Yeah, and so there was that issue, but now that everything's digital, there's not even that. You don't even cross that border anymore. So
yeah.
And DVD releases still happen on Tuesdays, which is kind of like, yeah, okay.
Well, but nowadays though, they'll release it digitally a week or two before it comes out on DVD. So right. I don't even buy DVDs anymore. The minute it's available for digital, I just get it in digital.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I like physically having it in my hands.
It depends on what it is. I mean, if it's like, so, if it's going to be something like, something that maybe potentially comes out on an amazing box set or something, then yeah, I will buy the DVD. But in some movies, it's like, random stuff, like a sequel that maybe isn't as good to the original or something. It's like, I'm not going to buy the DVD. I'll just buy it in digital, and that way it's not taking up space in my apartment.
That's the other thing.
I really like. We'll buy a DVD or a Blu-ray.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing is the stuff that I'd really like to own. I would like to have a Blu-ray, but we don't have a Blu-ray player. So
I mean, I have a PS3, so I
we
have my PS3. I've been buying more on.
Yeah, I'm still rolling with a PS2, so.
Yeah.
That and really old televisions that are, take up 5,000 square feet. So it's like we need to upgrade the player and the TVs that it would play on as well. So that's not happening anytime soon. Well, yeah, that's true. That's very true.
I'm kind of a mix because we've got the Apple TV, we've got the Xbox One. At the same time, like Jared still works at the library, and he's in charge of like the book sale items, the stuff that the library's getting rid of, so they just sell to patrons. Mm-hmm. And he'll get stuff he'll get like random movies, like old Disney movies that are on DVD that still work, that were library copies, and get them for cheap. Like I think we got Lilo and Stitch for like $1. So we'll get stuff that way too, and he's bought some other things. It's like I don't know what that is, but sure, I'll watch it with you.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little hurt. You just referred to Lilo and Stitch as an old Disney movie.
Okay. I've got three stages of Disney movies. There's the ones like, yes, I'm gonna make you feel old again. Late '80s, early '90s, about to leagues. Then there's
that's the first stage.
That's Chrissy calls them the classics.
They are the classics. Snow White and Sleeping Beauty. Those are like ancient history.
Oh my god.
And then you got the ones like the 2000s, which are kind of like okay, they're fine. Then you get to Princess and the Frog till now, and that's like the new stuff.
Frozen and that sort of thing.
Frozen, yeah. Tangled, Frozen, Big
Pretty
Hero
much the CGI ones.
Yeah, I mean, I count Princess and the Frog in there because I was like, I really liked that one. I don't know why it didn't do as well. But, I don't know, I think people are getting to the point where like, okay, yeah, CG is just another medium. You got to give me a good story to go with it.
Well, fortunately, we're at that point because
yes,
sometimes you had to weather some of those ones that was
someone
CG.
Tell that to Michael Bay.
Yeah.
CG animation was like a gimmick, and so people felt like the story didn't have to be as strong. But now that we've kind of gotten used to the CG phase, now yes, they're having to put an emphasis back on the story. Yeah. Unfortunately, people like Pixar have always put the emphasis on the gimmick and the story, and that's always been kind of nice.
Yeah. Well, like we like I mentioned earlier, we went and saw Warcraft, and that movie was good, but it was one of the trailers. It's like Secret Life of Pets. We were watching the trailer for it, and I was like, maybe 10 years ago I would have went and saw a movie like this and thought, oh my gosh, that's so great. But with Disney back on the top of their game, I really don't need to go see that movie. Like I just saw Zootopia. It took me forever to see it because I thought it wasn't going to be very good, and I'm like, dude,
Zootopia
this was like
so good.
Zootopia is
I haven't seen it yet.
Like we got it, we got it from the library. Convoluted story. One of the patrons of the library likes to check out like 6 copies of the same one, and then he gives one to Jared. Say, here, you watch this. And so I was watching Zootopia, and I was like, I need this on Blu-ray. So we went and got it on Blu-ray because I loved it. It was awesome. So like I didn't expect it to be that good because I don't know, jokes were funny, the voice acting was great, and the story was really clever. It wasn't just animals in human, situations. It was like an actual buddy cop movie. Just one's a bunny and one's a fox.
Yeah.
You got to be careful with those anthropomorphized.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Glenn, how did you feel about it?
I'm fine with anthropomorphized Disney. Robin Hood is one of my favorite movies. One of my favorite ancient films.
No, that one's not quite ancient. That was from my parents' generation.
Yes.
Have you seen the one, the meme that's running around now where it's the little fox and he's looking, he says, Mom, Dad, can I go play? And he wants to go play with Judy the Rabbit, and the parents are Robin and Marion.
Oh.
I have not.
It was like,
okay, I need to find this now. Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I'll go with that headcanon. That works.
I didn't realize how much Nick the Fox looked like Robin Hood until I saw that.
Well, no, I just was Googling Robin Hood Zootopia thing, and yeah, there's some cute little fan art with that.
Again, on my list of things to watch.
Can I go play with Judy? I just found it.
Oh my. Well, this has been fun. I'm glad that you guys were able to make, all 3 of you were able to make it. So
we've made Five-ish Fangirls history here.
Yeah,
That's right.
all 5 of us and all 3 of Traveling the Vortex. So that's an accomplishment in itself. So
I know we did good. We did good, peeps.
yes. And now Sean is no longer a Five-ish Fangirls virgin.
No, not my cherry tonight. Of course, now I am curious to know, just as an informal poll,
Yes.
how many of the guests currently on your show tonight have written in feedback?
I have. Oh wait.
Say Chauncey's raising his hand. I mean, he's
Are you talking to the Five-ish Fangirls podcast?
I would say Chrissy's written feedback.
I have.
Feedback.
Have you really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
I think I wrote it on the
That's very
second or
early
first
on.
show, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I
Sean,
think I
Sean
was-
sent in feedback. It was a while.
I think I was.
Yeah. I think Glenn is our self-proclaimed biggest fan, though.
Yeah.
Which, since
I
he's the
was-
one who's been
I
on the
was
show
short
3
on his
times, I
heels
think he still
writing feedback too.
keeps that crown. So.
Huh.
Well, you'll just have to write in more
Nice try,
feedback.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess I'm just gonna have to take that away from him.
Well, you guys duke it out. We'll be happy to award it to whoever.
Yeah.
Do keep in mind, Glenn did just start donating through our Patreon.
Yeah.
Let me ask this question: how many people here are donating through Patreon to the Five-ish Fangirls?
One.
And his name...
I think I'm going to have that biggest fan for our title for a while now.
Yeah, a little bit.
Simply.
We'll virtually frame it for you and send it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right. Well, this has been amazing. Like we went into this not with any particular plans on what we were going to talk about, and this is kind of how I was hoping it was going to go. So.
Well, this ought to be an easy schedule for Sean.
I hope.
Yeah.
Show.
What you mean, like not a complete disaster and nobody's on fire?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, we're batting 1,000, guys.
Yeah. We're going to take it. We're going to take it and run with it.
You should, because we can't even claim that one.
Yeah. So, but for
the fire part.
You left early that day.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was like, when did you guys set the studio on fire? I'm like, I know, I've been behind, but I missed that one.
You'll just have to keep listening then, won't you?
I guess I will.
Quick, guys, get over here. I got to get some stuff set up.
Chrissy, wait till you get that episode. It was hot.
Oh, I'm sure it was.
We were on fire that week.
They're here all week. People, make sure to tip your waiters. Anyway,
okay. Well, dear listeners, if you enjoyed these tangents in the vortex, and just and you want to enjoy more, please. Well, visit Traveling the Vortex, first of all, travelingthevortex.com. They've got all their links there. And
can I play with Judy?
Oh, yeah, I posted it on our Facebook page. It's on our Facebook page, too. I just barely posted it.
Mitch has been searching for it for the last 3 minutes.
I've been looking through all this stuff and I found it.
It is so cute, isn't it?
So cute.
Glad you guys are as easily distracted because
I'm glad you guys have a Sean as well.
Anyway, well, you can find all of our tangents and squee and everything we do at our website, the5ishfangirlspodcast.blogspot.com. You can also find us on Facebook, where we post fan art of Zootopia and Robin Hood, and it's stinking adorable. And
Adorable.
It is. I'm squeeing along with you. And you can also find us on Twitter and Tumblr and Pinterest and YouTube and Instagram. And I'll find us on iTunes. Subscribe to us through iTunes. You can also subscribe to us through Google Play and Stitcher. Does that take a subscribe? I don't know. But anyway, You'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Okay. I've never used Stitcher. I just know it's a thing. And then, as mentioned multiple times throughout this podcast, if you can donate to our Patreon, that's every penny of that goes right back into the podcast and helps us to bring more quality content to your listening ears.
Just like this.
And then also you can just like this. And you can also support us through shopping through our Amazon store, and all that is a link on our website, the aforementioned 5ishfangirlspodcast.blogspot.com, and you just click there, if you go to Amazon through there, we get a little bit of the money. You don't spend any more than what you would have spent normally, and everybody wins. You get lots of cool stuff.
And maybe eventually we'll all get to Time Eddie or something.
Yes, but in the meantime, we'll have fun, shooting the bull over Skype with all our buddies.
Exactly.
And again, we thank you for listening. We thank you for subscribing and donating, reviewing, whatever it is you do. Following us on Facebook. We've had some fun interactions.
Yeah.
There. Well,
yeah, we've gotten several new followers on Facebook from the cosplay, the Indiana cosplayers group. So hi, and then
hi guys.
Yeah, other people that I've managed to name drop and stuff too. So, and it's new followers on Twitter. So if you found us via the Twitter, hello. So
cool.
And I'm slowly. Especially with Facebook and our blog, but especially with Facebook, that's where you're going to find the most stuff, where we post the most often, and I'm slowly but surely posting stuff from PopCon. I posted the video several days ago, and then I've got short for stuff at PopCon, so stay tuned for those to appear in the feeds as well. Facebook is where it's at. for pretty much everything.
Pretty much. Yeah. I'm on Facebook all day with work, and every now and then I'll just be scrolling through and find something fun. It's like I'll just throw that up on the podcast page, and it's a nice distraction sometimes, especially when days with real life tough serious news gets a little too much to bear. I'm like, hey, the podcast page, we do cool stuff there.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. But with that, we should probably sign off because it's storming where I am and it's getting pretty loud and obnoxious out there. So I don't know if my internet power's going to stay on for much longer. So.
Yeah, I can kind of hear your doing something.
Yeah, I think it might be. So I think that's our sign to cut it off. So, but first, again, thanks to Keith, Sean, and Glenn for joining us, and we'll go ahead and let you guys say bye first.
Thanks for having us. I'm Keith.
Just pretend you're on your own show and just sign off like that.
It's been a pleasure being on this show, and I thank you. I'm glad.
All right. Oh, with that.
Back now?
Yeah.
So how you doing? Thank you very much for having me.
Am I gone?
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming on. We appreciate that. Yeah. I guess we'll sign off as well.
Yep.
This is Chrissy in Salt Lake City saying goodnight. Ontario.
And this is Rachel in Indianapolis, Indiana. This is fun. We gotta do this again. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Have been listening to the Five-ish Fangirls podcast. Any and all movies, books, games, and other forms of media mentioned are owned and operated by the respective copyright holders. No copyright infringement is intended or implied.